When Aelira transferred to the Galactic Academy on Vorex Prime, everyone whispered, a human from Earth, attending a school where most students came from worlds that would kill a human in seconds? Madness. But she wasn't just any human. She was from one of the few surviving colonies on a Deathworld, planets so lethal that even the air was an enemy. The first day she walked into xenobiology class, the temperature was a freezing -20 degrees Celsius. Her alien classmates wore thick exosuits. She wore a light jacket. She smiled politely and took her seat. The others avoided her eyes, pretending not to stare. Except for one. Ravok, a young male from the SYTH Dominion, a reptilian warrior species known for their dueling culture, watched her every move. His tail flicked with irritation. He'd heard the rumors. Humans were soft, emotional, fragile. Yet this girl sat with calm eyes, her breathing slow and even. When the instructor asked her to introduce herself, she stood, smiled faintly, and said, Earthborn. Deathworld Colony 6. My name's Aelira. That was the first time the class fell completely silent. The days passed quietly until the incident. Ravok had been growing agitated for weeks. The SYTH valued dominance, and Aelira's quiet composure unsettled him. Every time she answered questions flawlessly, every time she smiled instead of growled, something inside him twisted. He couldn't understand how someone so small could look so unbreakable. Then one day in combat ethics class, the tension snapped. The instructor was lecturing on conflict resolution between species. Aelira raised her hand and calmly pointed out that many species used fear to control others, while humans used cooperation to survive. We thrive in chaos, she said softly. Fear only sharpens us. Ravok hissed. Empty words. Humans die screaming when faced with true strength. Aelira tilted her head. Do you want to test that theory? The class gasped. The instructor began to intervene, but Ravok had already drawn a blade. The curved edge glimmered under the white classroom lights. A dueling knife, ceremonial, but deadly. He lunged. Aelira didn't move at first. Her pupils narrowed, her breath slowed. As the knife came close, she shifted one step aside, barely a whisper of motion, and the blade slashed through empty air. Before Ravok could recover, she caught his wrist, twisted it with perfect precision, and the knife clattered to the floor. In one smooth motion, she kicked it across the room and gently pressed her palm against his chest. Her touch was soft, but every warrior in the room saw it. That was a kill position. Ravok froze. The silence that followed was deafening. Then Aelira smiled, her voice calm as ever. Lesson over, she said. The instructor dismissed the class early. Word spread through the academy before the next cycle. The human girl disarmed a SYTH with a smile. After that day, Ravok avoided her. Not out of fear, but confusion. He had lived his entire life believing strength was born of aggression. Yet the human girl had shown a strength that felt peaceful. And it bothered him. He found her one evening in the botanical dome, sitting by a pool under the alien starlight, her bare hand trailing through luminous water. The air smelled faintly of ozone and flowers. You should have finished me, he said. Aelira didn't look up. Why? You weren't my enemy. You humiliated me in front of everyone. She smiled softly. No, Ravok. You humiliated yourself by bringing a weapon into a classroom. He clenched his jaw. You could have killed me. And what would that prove? She asked, finally turning to face him. Her eyes caught the blue light of the water. That I'm stronger? No. It would only prove that I'm the same as everyone else here. For a long time, he said nothing. Then, almost reluctantly, he asked, what is it like, living on a death world? Alira's smile faded into thought. Every day tries to kill you. The storms, the air, even the ground. But it also teaches you something no one here seems to understand. What? She looked at him, and in that moment, her gaze softened. That life is precious. That you fight not because you hate, but because you love surviving. Something stirred in Ravik's chest, an emotion he didn't have a word for. He sat beside her, close enough to feel her warmth in the cold air. You're strange, human. Thank you, she said with a playful smile. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, the two began training together. Ravik taught her the sci-fi art of blade balance. She taught him human hand-to-hand techniques and the importance of breathing through chaos. Their sparring sessions became less about dominance, more about rhythm, a silent conversation of movements, glances, and trust. Other students began whispering again, this time differently. The Deathworld girl and the reptilian duelist, training side by side, laughing quietly between bouts. Then came the trial of species, the Academy's annual combat exam. Each pair of students was tested on cooperation under extreme stress. Many thought Ravik would refuse to partner with Alira. Instead, he volunteered first. Their trial was brutal, a simulated jungle filled with biomechanical predators. The goal: reach the extraction point alive. They moved as one. Ravik slashed through metal beasts with his plasma blade, while Alira slipped between the chaos with fluid, deliberate grace. When one of the machines pinned Ravik, she didn't hesitate. She leapt, wrapped a cable around the creature's neck, and used its own momentum to crush it against a rock wall. You owe me one, she said, panting. He chuckled. I owe you many. When they finally emerged victorious, the crowd watching through the arena glass erupted in cheers. Even the instructors looked stunned. For the first time, Ravik didn't feel envy. He felt pride, shared pride. That night, under the twin moons of Vorax Prime, Ravik found her again by the glowing pool. He sat beside her without a word. You've changed, she said softly. So have you, he replied. She laughed quietly. No. I've just found someone who listens. Silence settled between them, heavy but gentle. Then Ravik turned, his voice low. When you smiled that day when I pulled the knife, why did you smile? Alira looked into the reflection of the twin moons in the water. Because I saw you weren't trying to kill me, you were trying to prove something to yourself. I wasn't smiling at your anger, Ravik. I was smiling because I knew you could be better than it. He stared at her, words lost. Then, slowly, he reached out and touched her hand. She didn't pull away. You humans, he said softly, you fight differently. She squeezed his fingers. We fight to live, to love, even on death worlds. The air shimmered with faint luminescent pollen drifting through the dome. The world outside was still dangerous, still vast, still full of challenges. But at that moment, under alien skies, a death world girl and a sci-fi warrior shared a quiet, fragile peace. And for the first time since arriving, Alira truly felt safe. End.